Today on Dialed In DIY, we're going to look at a quick and easy way to pick a padlock. I recently found myself in a little bit of a jam when I had a padlock on a box that I no longer could find a key to. I was locked out. So what do? Well, I guess one solution would be to get a handy-dandy lockpick set. But this isn't something that everybody typically has. There's a much easier way to get inside of this lock. Actually, all you really need is an empty aluminum can. I recommend a clean can that's dry. Makes it a lot less sticky. Your first step is going to be to remove the top and the bottom of the can. Actually, a knife is easy to do this with, some kind of a box cutter or something. But in the end, all you really need is a pair of scissors, and that's what I typically use to clean up the edges and get the final piece that I need anyway. Once I have the main body of the can out, I just cut out a simple little rectangle. This is the main piece that we're going to need. From this rectangle, we're going to cut a notch into it so that we can turn this rectangle into an actual shape of a T. Now take the T and you're going to fold the top half down. When you're done, you're going to have about a ½ inch of material left. It's going to be thicker. This is easier to hold on to and works much better. Now grab your scissors again and kind of round off the edges of the T. Clean up the edges a little bit so that you don't have as much excess material. Makes it easier to hold on to and work with. And now you're pretty much ready to go. Before attacking the lock, we're actually going to just round this out a little bit to get it in a shape ready to attach to the shackle of the lock. A gentle push on the edges gets this into the final shape that you're going to need. When you're done, it's going to be about the size and the shape of a drinking straw. Now it's time to get at that lock and get back inside the box. First, what you want to do is wrap the T around the shackle of the lock with the rounded part pointing down towards the opening. This is now where you can see why it was important to get this rounded out before we begin. You're going to actually start to rock that curved piece down into the tip of the lock, that little opening, and then slowly start to kind of push with a little bit more pressure and twist, and you'll find that it does eventually slide down in there quite nicely. It is going to be snug, so just a little patience and persistence and you'll get it right down inside. Once it is, all you have to do is start to twist that metal piece around the shackle of the lock and then pull on the lock and it opens right up. How can this be so easy? How can this work? The key is right on that little notch on the shackle. This is where the locking pin fits into place and keeps the lock from opening. When the piece of aluminum can twists around the notch in the shackle, you're actually pushing the lock pin out of the way inside of the lock, which then forces it to open back up. You're essentially mimicking the process of what the key does. It is important to note, however, that some of these locks have notches on both sides of the shackle, so you might need two of these to actually get it to open up. This is a great way to get into a lock that you've lost your key, but just remember, don't use this on someone else's lock without their permission. You might end up finding yourself in a lot of trouble. Thank you for watching. Please press like and then subscribe. There will be more Dialed In DIY to come.